Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Good morning. It's 6:37. We appreciate you letting us be a part of your morning routine. We promise you a news and entertainment extravaganza that certainly will not be routine. Starting at 7:05 with Joe DeGeneva. At 7:35, Trevor Mattich will talk about your Commanders' commanding dominance over the NFC East now. At 8:05, Sean Spicer will give us his last electoral analysis here on Election Eve. And then 8:35, the woman of the hour, Annetta Ketchings, who we just focused on in that viral video out of Alexandria. We will discuss with her and you, Julie Gunlock.
Good morning.
Good morning. And while we're focused on the righteous black female conservative who will save this country, let's bring in our favorite in that category, Patrice Onwuka, of course, our colleague here at WMAL, and a poobah over there at Independent Women's Forum. Patrice, good morning. Thanks for joining us on a Monday.
It is not a Monday, but good morning, Larry and Julie. Happy to be on.
There's no yay about a mun. You've got a great article here focusing specifically on the black female vote, because we're told that Kamala Harris just has that cornered, and demographically she might, but there's a growing voice amongst black women who are starting to look another direction. I think that you personify them. Tell us your thesis in this article.
Absolutely. So I suspect that black women will break for for Donald Trump in a greater percentage than they have in the past. And now, don't expect a majority of black women to vote for President Trump, but I do think we're going to see double-digit support for President Trump among black women. I mean, when we look back over the past few votes here, Hillary Clinton won them by 94%. Donald Trump only won them by 4% in 2016, but he upped that to about 9% in 2020. And right now he's polling at 14%. So more than double where he was back in 2016. And I suspect that it is about a lot of issues. The economy, yes, but also a lot of social issues that turn off black women who tend to be conservative when it comes to social policies, particularly around gender ideology and that being taught in schools. Also school choice and the idea that your kids should not be forced to stay in a failing school, but should actually have other opportunities. So that's where I'm going to be looking on election night to see how many black women leave the plantation, as people often make that analogy, and move over into the Donald Trump category, or at least the independent category.
Patrice, you list some of the reasons why black women should really pause before casting a vote for Harris. You talk about how she was a former prosecutor who enforced truancy laws, and that hurt disproportionately black parents more than white parents. You talk about how she locked up a single mother whose 11-year-old daughter missed school for hospitalizations due to a really painful disease. You talk about her record of incarcerating black men in particular. Did the Trump administration and those on behalf of the Trump administration do a good enough job, in your opinion, of conveying that record to black voters?
I would like to have seen them do more on it, but I think they did. They did pretty well in talking about the First Step Act, for example, which was passed by President Trump. That reduced the number of people who are incarcerated for minor drug offenses, and it significantly helped black men. So I know the Biden administration likes to take credit, but it was really under President Trump that we saw First Step. And I think we could have seen policing reform, between President Trump and Senator Tim Scott, if the Democrats were willing to actually see some policing reform that police would agree with.
Right.
When it comes to the school choice, I would love to have seen more about that. Put more black moms out there. They are the face of the school choice movement because so many of them are stuck in failing public school systems, and they want choices. They want to be able to take their tax dollars and go to another option that better suits their kids, rather than being forced by the unions to stay in these failing schools and watch their children languish.
We're speaking with Patrice Onwuka. You recognize her voice, though, of course, and you can get this column at Real Clear Politics. What I find interesting, if your thesis holds true, and listen, the numbers are astounding. 4% of black women voted for Trump in 2016. He did double that to 9%
Absolutely.
In 2020, and now he's up another 50%, it appears, based on the polls, to 14%, or maybe even more when all is said and done, because Trump always underperforms in polls. What I find fascinating about that, if that trend continues, is that he did this based on issues, not based on pandering, not based on identity politics, not putting somebody out there and sort of, as we see from Kamala Harris, changes her accent depending on who she's talking to, right? And sort of pandering about that. Donald Trump is who he is. He's not going to change who he is, but he's been talking about issues. Everyone says, oh, he's a showman, he's an entertainer. This has been one of the most issue-oriented campaigns I have seen from Donald Trump.
Well, and he has put Kamala Harris on her heels. Remember the cutting taxes on tips. Cutting taxes on overtime, cutting taxes on Social Security. He put those policies out, and then a week later, she copy and pasted and put it into her platform. You know, I think to the point about issues, we really see this trend in Black women among younger generations. So the under 44 crowd. These are millennials and these are Gen Zers, and they are more open to listen to Donald Trump or to listen to other third-party candidates because they recognize that their parents. Their allegiance to the Democratic Party has delivered nothing. A few gatekeepers get stronger, but the rest of the Black community is suffering.
I'm so sorry to do this to you. You know how on WMAL here, especially O'Connor and Company, we get feedback from our listeners, and we've got Patty from Alexandria who wants to take issue with you. Yeah, see, I mean, Julie, she's a 35-year national security expert, Patty in Alexandria.
Honestly, Patrice, what was your reaction when you saw that viral video?
Oh, is that just another day in Alexandria? I mean, come on now. You guys are calling her Patty. She is a classic Karen. She's like a liberal Karen, and she's in a high-ranking position. She's scared that her job will be lost, that the swamp will be drained this time around. That's what this is really about. They're losing their minds because they're scared that, that President Trump could resize the federal government and get rid of all the waste and the people who are doing absolutely nothing but advancing their own ridiculous radical agenda.
Amen.
Yeah, let's get rid of the Carries and the Patties. I'm all for it.
Patrice Onwuka, what a year this has been on this election eve now as we wrap up, and it's so great that you've been by our side this whole time, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
Let's hope for a happy two-yay.
And let's hope by the time
wonderful Wednesday.
And by the time Patrice is joining us on Friday, let's hope we actually know who won the election. Wouldn't that be great?
Exactly.
Thanks, Patrice.
Thanks, Patrice.
All right, thanks, guys.